You want to know a psychopath? I want you to picture a father carrying his 2-year-old through a restaurant. And that 2-year-old reaches over to somebody's plate and grabs a handful of their French fries. Mine! The kid yells and starts eating them. That, in an adult mind, it is a psychopath, is an adult psychopath. That's the way he described it. It's always stuck with me. They don't seem to spend a lot of time thinking about consequences, and we've already seen that they don't consider others in their decisions apart from how to best manipulate them. They often have big plans for the future but rarely carry them out. For those who do stick at things, it's often a spouse or partner or some sort that takes responsibility for this aspect of their lives. Explosive temper. Psychopath may lose it at the slightest provocation. They can react badly to what they perceive as an insult or a threat. Other people may perceive it as something minor, but if they perceive it as important, they can explode. The explosion may even involve severe physical violence. However, this one of the psychopath symptoms is typically short-lived, and then the psychopath carries on as if nothing happened. They will also typically maintain that they have control over their temper, and what they did was a natural response to other people's provocation. Remember, it's never their fault. They did a recent study on psychopaths, and they found out that there were language things that were giving them away. The things a psychopath loves to talk about a lot, the basics, their food, their water, their shelter. And anybody they're going after, for any reason, they can give you all of the reasons that that person deserved what they got. They can give it to you in an itemized list. This includes people who have killed people, serial killers. Well, this person was a prostitute, and she was out there behaving badly, and down the list they can go. Psychopaths seek excitement. They don't like to be bored. Sometimes they will break the law just for the excitement of it. A question that is often asked whether psychopaths know they are doing wrong or not. The answer is yes, they do. For this reason, at least in the U.S., they are legally responsible for their actions. They are not considered mad or to have mental illness. Their victims, especially those who have been subject to mind control, have difficulty accepting at the start that somebody would do such harm. It's safe to assume that psychopaths know exactly what they are doing when they are breaking the law, manipulating others, or otherwise causing harm. They just don't care. When a psychopath realizes he can no longer manipulate the people around him, he may get bored and disappear and go elsewhere looking for fresh prey. Okay? I've already shared this link, and it's got a lot of other symptoms, so you can further enhance your ability to possibly identify a psychopath. Again, you need to see somebody that's got 6 or 8 of these things, not just 1 or 2, because we all have 1 or 2. Explosive temper, need for speed, no responsibility whatsoever, childhood history, cruelty to animals and to siblings is particularly worrying. Another thing that you'll see is lying, stealing, fire setting, this is in the kids, truancy, missing school, bullying, drug abuse, and early sexual encounters. Remember, somebody out there listening to this might say, holy shit, I did all those. That doesn't mean you're a psychopath, bro. But if you've got 5 or 6 of these in a row, you may want to go seek some help. But then again, if you're a psychopath, you already know it. So I shared this link with you. I want you guys to look at it. You will then know how to find a psychopath. And I'll tell you, this fictitious character named Chuckette, I modeled her after this list. I let this list talk to me. I took in all of the surrounding context of it, and I created her character. And it's just textbook. I mean, the fact that in my story, this fictitious account, she hasn't gone on a killing spree yet baffles me. I guess that's in the future. I don't know. So let's see what you guys are talking about in chat. Kevin, a question from the gallery. Did this individual display these symptoms when you first met? In the fictitious account that I'm talking about, no. There were no symptoms other than one thing this fictitious person told me. And she said, and it was the craziest thing, she said, my current husband put in for orders to get away from me. She was in the Air Force at the time as a cook. He was in the Army at the time, and I was working for Gateway out there at the time in Colorado Springs. She said he put in for orders to get away from me. She was giving me a warning right up front, and I didn't see it. I was blind to it. After that, I just began to see, I never once in this fictional story witnessed her express or feel guilt. I swear to God, not one time did I ever sense that this person could feel empathy. That means looking at somebody else who's in pain and feeling it. Yeah, it was a red flag, Andrew, and I should have known. I should have fucking known, but I didn't know. So, I don't know, RD. I think it was, how can you not see that? He says, love is blind. I was, you know, the physical was there at the time. I mean, in this fictitious story I'm telling you about, of course, she was young and beautiful, and I was suckered in, if you want to say that. I mean, she came after me at a bar. That's how that went. I was a sucker. And when she came to me and said, you know, in this fictitious story, of course, I want an abortion, I said, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I had to talk her out of it. So, and that type of thinking, me, never changed. It has never changed. One thing about a psychopath that baffles me is they're usually pretty intelligent. So this fictitious character, Chuckette, is not intelligent. In fact, she failed out of electronics school, and that's why she was a cook. And she never went to college. She was a stoner in high school, never took it seriously, this fictitious character. So I can't help but wonder how it is that she has not learned in all these years how to mock empathy, because most psychopaths can learn how to mock it, to pretend that they have it. She's never bothered with it. I've never seen her empathetic toward anyone. You know, one time we were in a car in the fictitious story that I wrote, and we passed this guy, right? We were in her hometown, and she said, well, he's one of the fucking losers, and da-da-da-da-da. And you know what I said? This was in 2000. I said, can I ask you a question, Chuckette? She said, what? I said, is there anybody in this town you have anything positive to say anything about? And she took about 3 seconds to think about it, and she looked back at me and said, no. Just like that, dead-ass serious. Had nothing positive to say about anybody in the town. And if you guys talk to Paul Dembski, he'll know this town, and he knows some of the people that are in it. So they're not all bad. He'll testify to that. So I was learning, but I was learning very slowly. I had never been involved with a psychopath. I've never been involved with one since, of course, in this fictitious story. Barco says, because I was about 25 and could crush her, but her mom wanted that level of competition, talking about tennis. RD says, I remember one of my neighbors told me when we first met that he didn't keep beer at home because he knew himself too well. Well, that could mean a lot of things. Maybe he just had an alcohol problem, or maybe he would have come over and gutted you, RD. I played a lot of tennis, and there was this single mom with a daughter, Played tennis with her daughter, was like 12 or 14. Yeah, I didn't see the red flags, guys. I tried. I'm still trying to follow Barco's story because it's a long one. One day the daughter shows up by herself and we go play tennis. After tennis, the daughter has to come back to our place and try to get physical. No more tennis. And she was 14, Barco. I can understand why it scares you. You know what I say, RD? When you talk to somebody like that, take everything in context. Look in their eyes when they say something like that. Do they just look like somebody who's wrestled with alcohol before? Or does it look like somebody who's going to remove your spine and display it on their trophy case? You get these vibes, and you got to go with them, man. You got to trust your gut instinct. Because as I've said before, I think the gut instinct is really the result of your subconscious mind doing a lot of work you don't know about and sending you the signal. And my gut instinct was not working with this fictional character named Chuckette. Maybe I could call her Chucky, like the little red-headed stabbing doll. Let's change her name to Chucky. Yeah, Chucky. That's her name. This fictitious person that I was married to is named Chucky. Chucky's got a lot of baggage, guys. Lots of baggage. Everybody she knows has beaten her. All the men in her life have beaten her. Remember, these lies, they're meant to encourage sympathy and empathy in you, even though she cannot define what sympathy and empathy is. It is a form of manipulation. It is to get you to her side. That's her goal. I want to get you to my side and then use you. And it's a scary thing when you see it in action, man. It really is. Because people can be easily controlled once they are on somebody's side. Yeah, I just admitted to beating Chuckette. Well, in this fictitious story, I will tell you that Chuckette attacked me once and jammed her knee into my crotch so hard that I was singing like fucking Michael Jackson, and I pushed her off me. And I'd do the same thing again. You betcha. I pushed her off with me with some force. I'd just been kneed in the nuts. And you know why? Because I said, I need to go for a drive so we can both cool down. Swear to God, God strike me dead if I'm lying. That's the God's honest truth. She comes up and drives her knee into my nuts. That's my car, you're not going anywhere. Yeah, I was a big dude and she was small, but when a little person puts their knee in your nuts, size becomes irrelevant. Yeah, I'm Ray Rice, all right. I've never punched a woman. I would never do that. I grew up with 4 sisters, Barco. They beat the shit out of me, man. I learned how to beating from women. And I took plenty of beatings from this fictitious character. Never said anything about it. You know, these days you can get them arrested. A woman beating on you. Any unwanted touching is assault. But I didn't ever do anything like that. Your daughter kicks you in the junk, you gonna hit her? No. Like I said, I wouldn't hit anybody. If my daughter kicked me in the junk, I'd probably have the fucking cops come out and have a talk with her. But let's just hope that doesn't happen. But if my ex did it, fuck yeah, I'd shove her off me. What are you supposed to do there? Take it? Give me another nut shot, man. Jesus Christ. That could fucking kill you. Yeah, that explains a lot, RD. And I was the youngest, too. I think Barco had 4 sisters, 4 or 5. No, you can't have your kid kicking you in the balls, Barco. Come on. There's no way you're going to be able to spin this to make it sound reasonable. But I'm not even thinking about my daughter doing that. They taught me to be a gentleman. They taught me that guys are pretty much scum when they get older. And I began to see what they were talking about as I'd watch my friends. It's very hard to find men, especially in the teenage years, that care about anything other than, you know what. I don't even have to say it. Are you serious, Andrew? What did he do? See, you can have an ex standing over you with a knife, and if she's a woman, you can't touch her. You got to flee. You're not allowed to do anything. How many women did you grow up surrounded by, RD? And yes, I said it. If little Chucky, this fictitious character I've been talking about, put her knee in my balls again, I'd shove her off me again. You betcha. Sure would. I know what's reasonable retaliation and what isn't. That is reasonable. Barco, you've had an exciting life, man. I have not. My life's had about 1/10 the excitement of yours. I want to hear the rest of that story, Andrew, and if that's typical in Australia. I know what he said. When he woke up and she had that knife over him, he said, "That's not a knife. This is a knife." I can't do the Australian thing. Woke up, passed out in my car with the police shining a flashlight in my face about the block from the ER. Jesus Christ. Did she go to prison, Barco? Tell me you didn't let her get away with stabbing you, unless you were doing something stupid like beating her and you deserved it, in which case I wouldn't involve the police either. I'd say, well, I got what I deserved. But, big guy but a bear, no violence in him. No beating. Okay, well, since it is a topic, let's talk about Ray Rice. So here's what he does. His woman spits on him and attempts to slap him twice, I think. So it looked to me like what he did might have been open hand. I don't know. Whatever he did, he could have broke her neck. The way she hit the side of that elevator wall. To me, that's attempted murder. That's what that is. The way she flung like a rag doll. If you want to get in a little bitch slap fest with her and exhibit the same power toward her that she's exhibiting toward you, I can understand that. But what he did was way over the top. I think we can agree on that. Now, whether or not she should also go to jail for assault because she was slapping on him, maybe. There's a lot of anti-feminist movement out there saying, what about her? She was attacking him. Yeah, but what he did in retaliation, I don't know. That's just not cool. Telephoning an ex is a big no-no. I agree with that. Andrew was in Chicago.